All right, how's everybody doing this afternoon? This is the Osmo.com NHL DFS Strategy Show, last edition of 2019, and should be a good one. So hopefully the early slate's going well for you guys. Maybe you had some fun or made some money playing Showdown last night. But I think this is going to be a pretty good one. Kind of not really a lot. There's not really like one chalk spot that is, going to dictate the slate, I don't think. A couple of chalky players, according to our ownership projections. But I think it's a good night to kind of spread it around. And a couple surprises as far as what we project to be popular and not popular for that matter. But I think it's going to be a fun one. We do have a bunch of free stuff today. A couple things. So you're watching the NHL DFS Strategy Show. That probably means use projections or would like to use them. NHL projections. Those are free today. So this is a model that was made by Alex mostly, and then I had some input as well. We've got the fantasy points for DraftKings and FanDuel. We're working on Yahoo, and then some other information in here that might be helpful. Joshua Dolan in chat. I took down the Showdown last night. Yeah, I think that's your username in chat, in Premium Slack. So yeah, I saw that. Really cool. You had like 20 lineups or something, and hey, you just dominated. Looks like maybe all in on pit one. Pretty nasty Gensel injury, but other than that, I think it ended up being. It wasn't a great slate for me because I didn't have the nuts in that big tournament, but it was fun. Showdown's a fun sweat, so hopefully gonna get better and better as we go, and then once we get to the Stanley Cup, semifinals, I suppose, then we'll have basically all showdowns, depending on what they do. I think it was all showdowns for the semifinals and then the finals. So some good practice, if nothing else. Let me win 10K today. Yeah, I think the 10K is yours today. Actually, 20K, I think, on DraftKings. Tonight, FanDuel running the same stuff. Yahoo running some contests with some lower management fees. $12 for this one. This is my favorite. 11.3% management fee. Can't really beat it around the industry. Looks like they're trying to grow NHL, and so when you make these contests bigger, got to go support them. Yahoo supports us. They make a lot of this possible, and so yeah, go support Yahoo. Promo code OSMO is how you get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports Rewards points. If you don't know what Yahoo Sports Rewards points are, that is just free cash to play DFS over on Yahoo. And they've got golf open. They've got some soccer contests, NBA. I know a lot of people have had success playing over there. Osmo subscribers. So if you like playing whatever stakes, 10K to first tonight, and then $15. They've got big NFL contests every week. And that is not changing for the playoffs either. So take advantage. Yahoo's better for your long-term ROI because of the management fees, lesser competition, all that good stuff. What else do we got? Osmo's live blog. Also, I think it's supposed to be free today. I'll link this, see if you guys can get in there. And I don't think anything's updated just yet, but hopefully we get that updated, or maybe I'm just completely off. But I do know one thing that is for sure going on right now. Osmo's eighth crazy night of giveaways, it is called. Trips me up every time I say it, but all you need to know is you can win a free Osmo Plus monthly pass, which is a $90 value. 10 passes are going to be given out, as you see here. 10 passes, so $900 in value we're giving away. Win a free month. You can get in Slack, take advantage of all the tools and all that good stuff. All you got to do is follow the directions, retweet, like, reply. Pretty simple. Tonight it is which player scores the most fantasy points on tonight's NBA main slate. And you just got to follow Osmo_com and Osmo Tennis. So there you go. A little bit of a wrinkle there. Might as well take advantage and give it a guess if you're not a premium member. This is an easy way to at least try to to become premium if it's not in your pay grade, or you just don't want to spend the money. Understandable. But we're giving you chances to be premium members, or at least try us out basically every day. We've got giveaways going on. Let me open up my list here and see if anything has changed before we start getting into it. And we'll go to lineup study first from last night. A bunch of you tuned in, and hopefully you had some success. Pit 1 was the obvious play, but the one that everybody played it, and it ended up being the nuts. Jay Thomas took it down $288 in $2,833 in profit, I should say. The winning lineup: Gensel captain, Rust, Malkin, Brandon Tanev, Tristan Jarry, Nick Paul one-off. So Pittsburgh onslaught with Nick Paul as a one-off. He moved up, I think, late 2 games ago. He was on the second line in pregame skate. So if you jumped on that, which it looks like 8.9% of the people did, you probably did okay at $2K in salary. I think that's min salary for the showdown format. Pretty cool stuff there. Basically all the lineups at the top were a 1v1 away from that, as it usually is in showdown. So that was the winning lineup. 3 people shared it, and fourth was Dollar Bill. Bunch of familiar names trying out showdown. I lost a little bit in this tournament, so maxed it out, cashed 26 out of 70. That's gonna happen. Didn't finish in the top 10, so kind of knew I wasn't going to profit tonight, or last night. But it was a fun time. Setting up groups is always interesting for showdown. Obviously, no Nolan today. I may have mentioned that off the top, but no Nolan, no Cliffy. They've got other stuff going on, so it will just be me rambling through this. If I miss any news, feel free to let me know in chat or at me in Slack, and just so we have the most updated information. Promo code Hit the Ice is how you get 50% off your first week of any Osmo Plus weekly pass. I know a bunch of you guys have taken advantage of that, so if you don't remember, the promo code comes across the ticker up top, but I'll say it a couple times during the show. All right, we got the Lightning and the Sabres, 3.5 implied total. For Tampa, we have a 2.9 implied total for the Sabres. Andrei Vasilevsky and Linus Ullmark in net. And this is a game that I don't have a ton of interest in, which is pretty worrisome. It is a 6.5 total with a little shade to the under. Just, I'm not crossing this game off. I guess if I had to choose one thing, it would be Buffalo 1. I'm not crazy about Tampa here, so the total always scares me. I've been off Kucherov lately, 7,600. Haven't seen those big games out of him. Certainly this could be one of them. It's not like Buffalo is a great defensive team or anything like that, and the implied total says it all. But based on the ownership that we have for them, it's actually not even that high, so I figured I would get to a decent amount of them. But I think there are just better spots at lower ownership, which I feel like I say all the time. But I prefer some of the other big guns. If you wanted to make a heavy stand on Tampa 1, I would certainly understand that. Boom, yeah, I see you're not happy with the Tampa take, but that's what I got. I don't want to mislead you as far as what I'm doing. So I like to make more lineups than I need and kind of cross some of them off that are going to be more chalky. I'm barely even getting to Tampa when I factor in some of my own stuff along with the projections on the site. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Getting to a little bit of the Eichel line, like I said. I actually probably will have more of the Cirelli, Killorn, Stamkos line, but not really wild about Tampa tonight. So that'll probably come back to burn me. There's always ways to get creative with your Tampa stacks. If you want to leave off Palat and pop in Stamkos or Killorn or something like that, or just do a 3-man with Hedman, point Kucherov or something. Always ways to get weird with your Tampa stacks. I probably just won't be doing that very much tonight. So that's what we got there. And then these other lines are pretty brutal to try to think about stacking. When you're talking about, the Sabres especially, Larson, Jurgensen, Oposo, Asplund, Johansson, Sheary. I mean, I might crunch out some of those lineups, but boy, if I'm getting more than 1 or 2% of those out of 150, I think I'm doing something wrong. Sergachev 3.9. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. 3,900 on DraftKings, but there are some other punt guys I like. Well, I'm actually not even punting that much. So for me to get to a top, a line that's super expensive tonight, I'm glad Boston 1 isn't on this slate, because then I would have to choose probably between, top defensemen and the top price lines. And so I'm getting to a ton of the top defensemen tonight. So I'm finding myself in this mid-tier, upper mid-tier, and then just punting on some of these stacks. So Tampa probably not going to make the cut too often for me. Let's go to the next game, Montreal, Carolina. We have a 2.7 implied total for the Canadiens, 3.4 for the Hurricanes. Charlie Lindgren in net, making his first start of the season, I believe, and then Peter Mrazek for the Hurricanes. A bunch of lines that I really like playing in this game in general. I thought I would be heavier on this one. When just going through stuff, I like to go through and check natural stat trick and box scores and check up on some of these lines, and obviously line matching, all that. So I figured I would get to Carolina as my top spot, or one of the top spots, because of the good total. Obviously, I love Aho, Niederreiter, Teravainen. I think that line's going to see the most time against Domi, Lehkonen, and Suzuki, which seems pretty tasty. And so I'm going to probably end up just bumping them up, because I'm getting to a decent amount of them. I'm not getting to a spot where I think I should be on the Aho line. And they're decently low owned. Aho getting under 10% ownership. Let's see, who's going to be Niederreiter's going to get left off. Yeah, so I'm leaving Niederreiter on. I think he's cheap. He plays secondary PP minutes. He's just a guy that I kind of believe in that if people are going to leave him off, I don't think he's a plug that you need to just leave off the line. I was going to say Zach Cassian, but that's worked out a bunch of times this season, so I don't even know if I can call him a plug. But Nygaard, when he was up with McDavid, where I think you can just blanket leave some guys off, I don't think Niederreiter is that. For 4,600 here. Stahl, Svechnikov, Fogle, I also like. They're really tough defensively. So the Stahl, Svechnikov duo has been excellent just basically anytime they've played. And kind of for that reason, I'm pretty much out. Jeez, I sound like Mark Cuban on Shark Tank. I'm out on Montreal 1 tonight. So I didn't factor in line matching when I ran my crunch before the show, but what teams are winning, no doubt, tonight? Boy, it's hockey. So that's like asking which baseball teams are winning. Even if you're a minus 300 favorite, you're always live to be upset. We just saw the Patriots lose at home to the Dolphins in a game they should have, or they needed to win, right? So just crazy things. No must wins. Seems like Carolina should win this game based on the matchups here. Anyways, I'm probably out on Danault, Tatar, and Gallagher. It's a line I love. It's a line that I think you can play pretty much whenever, and they're not getting that much ownership, so I guess you don't have to make a major stand on them, but I have a hard time believing that I'd be over if they were at 2 to 3% or something like that. I think it's just a really, really tough spot for them. Maybe they get hot on the power play. That's certainly possible. Carolina's taking a bunch of penalties this season. But big enough slate where I'm okay going elsewhere than Montreal 1. And same thing for Montreal 2. I think more often than not, they get run over by not only Carolina 2, but maybe even the third line as well. Looks like a decent third line too. So it's pretty much all Carolina here, especially the Aho line. I'll probably take some stabs with Stahl, Svechnikov, and Fogle. Might get to a couple shares of the third line, but that's really about it. And then I like Dougie. You can go Dougie with, especially the second line, but you can go with Stahl and Svechnikov and Fogle as well. Is this correct? Stahl's off the second power play? Wasn't he just on the first power play like a couple games ago? No, they took him off entirely. I don't know if that's going to stick. But anyways, I like Hamilton. I think he's probably, I believe he's my highest owned guy right now. Yeah, Dougie's my highest owned guy right now. I probably won't have a guy over like 35-40%, but if one reaches over that, I think it would be Dougie. We've got him at healthy ownership, but I agree wholeheartedly. I think he's been not having a classic Burns season, but he's been Burnsian in that he's getting the minutes. He's playing the power play. The peripherals are very good. Yeah, I love him. Once again, for 6,700, plus he goes well with a Carolina 2 line that I like a ton. On the other side, we're just going to keep slamming Petrie, I suppose. $4,300 for him. If he's had a couple huge games lately. And DK hasn't, 3 out of his last 4. Jeez. I thought he only had 2 huge ones. Oh, he had that one on Sunday. So he's been at almost 40 points, 24 points, and then 27 in 3 out of his last 4. He doesn't play big minutes, so obviously not going to keep up that kind of pace, but I still think that's a fine price for 4,300. If you were going with Montreal 1, he's the guy you'd want to go with if you're trying to just hope that Carolina's taking a bunch of penalties here. And maybe you get this trio plus Petrie to score a power play goal or 2. Not the worst idea. Do you have a Dougie poster on your ceiling? I do not, but I do need a Dougie Hamilton. I wear these jerseys. Well, this one's not a jersey, but I wear these jerseys, and I think Dougie needs to be my next guy. Feels wrong that I don't have him, right? All right, let's go to the next game. Panthers, Blue Jackets, 3.1 implied total for the Panthers, 2.9 for the Blue Jackets. Bobrovsky and Merzlikins in net. Korpisalo out for quite a bit, 4 to 6 weeks, I believe it was. That is not good news for Columbus. But Columbus has just played really good defense this season. I think of them as like a middling defensive team when I don't, you just have these opinions of certain teams in your head. Because I don't check every team, every single slate, right? As far as like team stats and 5-on-5, power play, all that. But when I always check on Columbus, I'm always surprised at just how good they are or have been defensively. And I kind of believe in it at this point. Like their roster doesn't look great. Like they're not super deep. Not really a team we love for DFS, but I'm not really targeting against them outside of some Florida 1. And I was wondering if Florida 1 would be popular today. Looking at Barkov, where we have him, like that seems a little bit too popular. Just I get that they're cheap. I get that they're fully correlated. I'm always, with that, like I always love the correlation and all of that. But like this doesn't necessarily seem like a spot, like a smash spot or anything for Florida 1. I don't know. That's just how I feel. And the ownership is kind of getting me off of them even more. So I know some people love the spot that I've talked to today and I've seen. I find it hard to believe that I get over the field at least. Like let's say they're going to be like 7% owned. Like I don't think I get over that. I guess you'd probably include them as one of the best. They're probably one of the best lines on this slate, just in terms of like sustained good numbers and all of that. So it feels weird for me to come on and be like trashing them, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know if I'm trashing them, but yeah, usually a line that I really love to play, but the ownership being the way that it is, they're going to be decently popular, and that's not really something I love here. If they were going to be like 3-4%, and maybe we had a Boston one or something like that on this slate, then sure, I might be more apt to play a bunch of them. But yeah, probably not gonna get there very often. These Blue Jackets lines look ugly though. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Like, you can obviously score in Florida. We've seen it a ton of times this season. You can score on the Barkov line. Who goes up against them? I'm not really sure. I would assume it's going to be Dubois, Foligno, right? They've used Foligno in that shutdown role a bunch of times, but who knows? Like, Tortorella could see them see the Wenberg line play one shift against Barkov and like how they play, and then that's who gets to stick against them for 7 minutes tonight. Like, you just never really know. And you never know if the lines are going to stay together. He's been better about that this season. The line I like the best for Columbus here, reluctantly, is Dubois, Foligno, and Nathan Gerb. Is it Gerb or Gerbe? Gerb, I'm guessing. There's no accent mark, right? But even though that line, their correlation kind of stinks, that's the one I'm probably going to take some stabs on for Columbus as more of a punt line. Oh, Gerby? Is it really Gerby? Wow. All right. Well, I was wrong twice then. There you go. 3 times the charm. Werenski and Jones are guys I both kind of like. I prefer Jones 6,200 as a one-off, but I always play both of these guys. Like, Werenski goes better with both of the top 2 lines probably, just because you get that PP1 tag, and he's 5,600. He's perfectly fine. Jones is the guy I'll probably have more as a one-off. So, yeah, Columbus looks fine to me. Probably more splitting my exposure, but I haven't looked at this team a ton. Let's look where Boone Jenner's at. Yeah, it looks like Columbus won with the full power play correlation is probably going to be a little bit more popular, and that makes sense with all the power play 1 tags. I would guess I'm more overweight on Columbus 2. Ooh, Colorado McKinnon line or Carolina Aho line? Do you prefer more? I don't know. I mean, out of context, like, I think Colorado 1's going to project a little bit better. So if you're just going by pure projection, yeah, it's probably Colorado 1. But ownership's a thing. And if you think that Carolina 2 is going to be half the ownership, I don't think that Colorado 1 has twice the chances of being the top stack as Carolina 2. So if you think about it like that, both together, could you do both together? You probably could. Let's try this. We got our lineup builder pulled up. Could you do it? No, you can't really. You're leaving someone off in that case. Or are those lines wrong, bots? Is that why? Is it? Yeah, I thought I saw. Wasn't it Donskoy up on that line? Maybe I'm seeing things. I know I saw that yesterday. Donskoy was up with McKinnon and Rantanen. Or no, Donskoy was up with McKinnon and Landeskog, right? So in that case, yeah, you could probably make that happen. Okay. You guys got it. Yeah, you could probably make that work then. There you go. Both. Bots is right. Play both. And there's your entire lineup for you. Okay, so lukewarm on Florida at best. Well, I get that Florida 1 is the best play on the Florida side. Ownership that I'm seeing for them is a little bit of an issue. If I'm punting, probably going to Matheson on the Florida side for 2,700 and Savard for 35 on the Columbus side. Sharks, Red Wings, 3.5 implied total for the Sharks, 2.7 for the Wings. Marty Jones and Jonathan Bernier in net. Athanasiou hurt, so that stinks. Really would have liked to see him play, a decent sample with Larkin and Bertuzzi, but we're not going to get it. Larkin, Bertuzzi, and Fabry have very poor numbers defensively together, as you would expect. I mean, Mantha compared to Fabry is a huge downgrade, or Fabry from Mantha is a huge downgrade. And so which line do they go up against? I don't know who they're going to go up against the most. I would assume it is Couture, Hurdle, and LeBanc. I've been wrong on line matching a bunch this year, though. Side note. But I like Couture, Hurdle, and LeBanc the most on the Shark side. They're pretty clearly the best line. I hope they get extended time against Larkin, Bertuzzi, Mantha. Or Bertuzzi, Mantha. Yeah, I miss Mantha, as you guys can tell. Larkin, Bertuzzi, and Fabry. Just a great spot because it's against Detroit, so not much more needs to be said. We're projecting middling ownership on San Jose 1, and yes, there you go, Dr. Evil, San Jose 1, looking like a snack. Yeah, I would have to agree. They look pretty tasty. You get two guys on the top PP. You can go with Burns or Carlson with this top line if you're doing a four-man. I think the Sharks' power play stack is in play, and Detroit is just bad at all strengths, really. So you don't really ever have to worry about them. But I just like the abundance of options you can do here with San Jose. Second line, pretty cheap when you factor in Barclay Goodrow. I'll be playing some of this second line for the Sharks. Probably won't be messing too much with the Larkin line. I shouldn't say that. I think they're okay. Based on what we have for their ownership and where I have them, I'm probably going to come in a little bit below the field. You guys know my style is to kind of spread out my ownership. And so I'm not super aggressive crossing out lines, but there are cases in which I'll do that. I don't think I'll be crossing off Detroit 1 or anything like that, because you would expect there to be condensed scoring if they blow open this 2.7 implied total. Even if they score like 3 goals and it's kind of a weird slate, there's a decent chance that a couple of them come from these 3 guys because they're fully correlated, because there's just not much else to offer on this Detroit side. So Detroit 1, I don't think is going to decide anything for me tonight. And I'm perfectly cool with that. Now, been talking up Burns a little bit lately. His minutes were down to 22 last game. It was a 6-1 win for the Sharks, so I wouldn't be too worried. He's just attempting a lot of shots. Like since the coach said that he's not going to attempt as many shots, he's just been shooting more, which is funny. 6,300 I think is a really good price. I have more Dougie. I have more Clefbaum, and he'll be in that. He'll be in contention for like my third highest owned defenseman. We've got him projected as maybe second most owned player on the slate. I would guess I get somewhere close to that 20% range on Burns. I hope he's not 20% owned, but I think we're going to be pretty close on that one. Carlson, another solid option at 5,700. He hasn't been having a great season, but there are other guys that I'm getting to ahead of Carlson. So pretty much a lock that I get to more Burns than EK. Hronik, once again, the guy you want to go to on Detroit side if you're going to someone, but almost 5K for him. Like, his price just steadily increasing. So not super appealing to me. In terms of defenseman tonight, I'm getting up into this 5-6K tier or going all the way down and punting for the most part. Lots to like for top defenseman. I think that's all here. I don't think I'm messing with the third line, Thornton, Sorensen, Marlowe. yeah, I'm good there. And then, yeah, nothing else on Detroit. Winnipeg, Colorado, 2.6 implied total for the Jets, 3.4 for the Avs. Connor Hellebuck and Philip Grubauer are your goalies. And interesting game here. We've got some line changes that are happening. It's supposed to be Donskoy with McKinnon and Landeskog, and then that would put Rantanen with Kadri and Burakovsky. I believe that's what it is. Someone correct me if that's wrong. I believe I saw that. Maybe I was seeing things, but it sounded like that's what you guys saw as well. So, obviously, you can play either of the Colorado lines. Just for me, it's hard for me to play Colorado without playing McKinnon, Landeskog, and then Donskoy. That just makes it so cheap. Plus, you still get two guys in the top power play. I mean, it looks way too good for me to pass up here. Winnipeg actually isn't taking a lot of penalties, but just the price and the cheap exposure you get with Donskoy to McKinnon in a game where they're projected to score 3.4 goals on average. I'm not avoiding it. I get that they're popular. McKinnon's always popular, right? But maybe some people don't see the lines, or you just aren't paying attention, and maybe you get a low-owned Donskoy with McKinnon, and people have the wrong combos. Not saying you can't just play the classic McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog. You could certainly do that, but I would be more likely to play the even strength lines on this team. So honestly, it's not that great of a power play spot. So the Jets they're not taking that many penalties. I'm trying to pull it up right now, because this was a team last year that took the most penalties. I think they were top 5 in time shorthanded. No Bufflin. I mean, he takes a lot of penalties, right? But yeah, 94 time shorthanded in 39 games played for the Jets. That's nothing. I mean, that's lowest in the league. So I mean, they're just not taking penalties, and give me the even strength lines in that case. Maybe you do get lucky. Maybe you get a power play goal here for the Avs, but I think more than likely the damage comes at 5-on-5. So Kadri with Burakovsky and Rantanen, also a nice value, especially if people aren't going to be on it as much because of the incorrect line combos that you might see on the, some line sites. That being said, McKinnon, very much the priority for me and whoever he is skating with at even strength. Cale Makar at 4,800. I'm a little bit torn on this one. Makar, he doesn't have fantastic peripherals. I think his assist rate has been boosting him up in our projections. And you would expect him to get a lot of assists on this team, but then, you think about it, and in his first 2 games back, 23 and 25 and a half minutes. That's pretty good. Even not a great power play spot. 4,800 for him. I'm willing to pay it. And so I think he's going to play a bunch at 5-on-5 too with both of the top 2 lines. So just exposure to good skaters for Makar basically the whole time he's on the ice. And maybe you do get lucky with that power play goal. He's just really talented. I think he's got some upside for 4,800, and I will be playing him in abundance tonight, it looks like. No, I like Makar. No, Boom. Me and Boom are in tune with Makar. Is it still Kadri with PP1? I believe, I saw this tweeted out. I should have wrote this down. Yeah, I think, I thought it was Kadri with them, but I'm not going to be able to find this while I'm on this stream. So I'll save you guys the time, but we'll look that up. I'll post anything in chat, or someone post that if you saw it, because I saw they were tweeting out the power play units yesterday as well. Jets are a little bit expensive for me. Scheifele, Connor, Line A. Would you be shocked if they were the top line at the end of the night? I don't think I would be. But really, really tough to get to with all these insanely good like top defensemen tonight. And so I'm probably going to reluctantly be off of them, and that's okay. They don't play that well at 5-on, or, they're not great defensively. So you hope that maybe they get on the ice with McKinnon. That's a possibility. It's still a scary fade. They're really good offensively. Okay, yeah, there are the lines at practice. Cool. Donskoy is on that top line. I think I'd be more likely to play some Winnipeg 2 here, actually. Wheeler, Ehlers, and Roslovic. But I'm probably off of Winnipeg for the most part. Like, are we projecting any ownership for Scheifele? Yeah. Basically nothing. So maybe there's something to be said for just getting overweight, playing 5 lineups out of 150 with the Winnipeg 1. Like, I can see how that's a logical play, because if they're the top stack, you're obviously going to have a huge edge. There's a chance that they're the top stack. But with this total compared to their price, I think it's just a little bit too tough for me to play a bunch of them. I hope they sneak in. I hope they do, because you always like playing these. I always like playing these overpriced stacks that are not in optimal spots, because like no one will do it. But I don't know. I probably will not be doing that very often. Like I can't even like get them to crunch out organically, even when I'm capping some of these lines. So better spots for sure. Well, actually, I got 2 out of 150. I'd probably be cool with that. 2 lineups out of 150. Who is going up against Scheifele? That's a good question. I mean, they're going to play a ton of minutes. So the way I think of it is just McKinnon's going to play a ton of minutes with whoever he's with. So they're probably going to be on the ice against each other for a lot of the game. But it's not going to be like, at least I don't think it's going to be like Bednar is just hard matching McKinnon against Scheifele, Connor, and Laine. They don't really do that too often. They just get put out because they play a ton at 5-on-5. So it'll probably be these 2 lines seeing the most time against each other. Yeah, Wheeler's line hasn't been that great either. Yeah. We playing $4,700 Ryan Graves? Because I don't think I am. It's probably Makar or nothing. Maybe some EJ at 3,400. Not the worst option. I actually like someone right in that price range a little bit better. That's playing big minutes. Let's go to Chicago and Calgary. 2.6 implied total for the Blackhawks. 3.5 for the Flames. We have Robin Lehner in net against David Rittich. Lehner has been insanely good this season. He's always priced at like $7K, 7,200, around there. He just gets it done for DFS, especially with these bonuses. It feels like he hits the bonus like every single night. And when you're playing with a team as bad as Chicago in front of you, you can see why that would happen. I want to check on where I got to Chicago, because, yeah, the Blackhawks were coming up for me. But I had the Kane, Tays, and Carpenter together. And so I got to recrunch with these correct Blackhawks lines. Bernier missing from the projections. Is he? I thought I updated that. Okay. I'll figure that out. My bad. I'll update right after the show. Chicago was coming up a bunch for me, but that's the correct line. I'm thinking of Doc. Carpenter, Tays, Kane. That's the line I was getting to a little bit. Actually, more than a little bit. More than I wanted to. I figured I would get to basically no Chicago. But just based on price alone, and you've got a cheap third guy you can play with, Tays and Kane, like I can see why someone would get there. Chicago's a sneaky play. Are they sneaky? I guess they would be considered sneaky, right? Because Tays is not going to be very highly owned. People always play their Kane one-offs. It's a good price for them. I get that, but they're also really bad defensively. I mean, the Hawks are just terrible defensively, but like Kane and Taves together, just go back years and years of being really bad defensively. So I love Calgary. I think a lot of people are going to love Calgary, so I don't think I'm saying anything hot takey here. Where's Gaudreau at? Yeah, okay. Like they're right around the same ownership as in that same ballpark as Florida 1. And for me, it's Calgary both lines, I think, over Florida 1 when you factor in price and ownership. So I'm all over both of these lines. Bennett, Backlund, and Monahan as that second line. I actually like that quite a bit. And then Lindholm, Kachuk, you get two guys in the top power play there. Mangiapane, me and Nolan both like this guy. And he's 3,600, and he'll probably get left off quite a bit. So the lines aren't optimal. Maybe the best way to do it is to power play stack. If I do end up running some power play stacks tonight, Calgary will certainly be on my list. I love attacking the Blackhawks, especially when they're on the road. They're a little bit better defensively at home, but still terrible. When they're on the road, there's no redeeming quality for the Blackhawks, in my opinion, besides Leonard. So, yeah, it's probably going to be frustrating when they score 2 goals and Leonard has 46 saves. But Leonard's also going to have bad games at some point. And when he has those bad games, the Blackhawks are going to get nuked. Oh, yeah. People in Slack reminded me. Thanks, JV in Slack. If you could hit the like button, that would very much help us out. I see a bunch of you in here right now. So thank you for watching. If you do like the content, please hit us with a like, because it does help us continue to do this content for free, which I would assume everybody would like it to be free, at least the people that watch it for free and aren't subscribers, I suppose. But anyways, if you could hit us with a like, that would be fantastic. Gaudreau with Ryan and Lucic is hilarious. You could play him in lieu of Bennett. You can play him in lieu of Mangiapane. There's ways to mix him in with either of the top 2 lines. You've got a power play 1 link on each of the top 2. So I wouldn't just forget about Gaudreau, especially if you're power play stacking. And who knows if these lines are going to stick. Maybe the best thing for the Flames would just be they get down quick and they stop with this joke of a lineup they have going on. And then maybe you get a bunch of goals on the Blackhawks. Gio, 5,900. He is projected to be our highest owned skater on the slate. He is not my highest owned skater. I like some other guys ahead of him. I like Dougie ahead of him. I like Clefbaum ahead of him. And I kind of like Makar, but maybe not over Gio. But with the price and the ownership gap, yeah, Gio looks good to me for sure. Obviously, you include him in your power play stacks if you can fit him. But in terms of one-off guys, I've got a bunch of guys ahead of him. So he's going to be popular, a little bit too popular for my liking, even though I do enjoy me some Flames tonight. He just hasn't been the same sort of peripheral player that we saw maybe last year. I think that's good here. Boy, I don't think I've won a single dollar playing the Blackhawks this season. Like, jeez, they're just. I've made some money stacking against them, but their lines, it feels like they switch these lines every single game. So at least you're starting with Taves and Kane together. Like, they usually take shifts at some point during the game if it's close. I've never gotten Chicago 2 right at all, it feels like, whether Kane's on the line or not. I don't think I'll be going to them now. Boquist, 2,600. I suppose for 2,600 you could make that work. What do we have him projected for as far as points? It cannot be very high. I'll just search right here. Projections are free today. Yeah, we've got him projected for 4 and less than 4.5 points. Yeah. I mean, whatever. If you're doing a power play stack or you need just a pure punt, I suppose. Hawks and Oilers are hard for me to tame. In that you lose money on them. I mean, that's how I feel. Not about the Oilers. McDavid's been pretty good to me. This a hockey draft? No. Well, DraftKings, I suppose. But we're presented by Yahoo. All right, Rangers, Oilers, 3.4 implied total for the Rangers, 3.4 for the Oilers. Alexander Georgiev against Mikko Koskinen. This should be a pretty fun game. It sounds like everyone's excited about this one. I'm excited about the Oilers as a team here, and I think that's the reason why I'm playing a lot of Clefbaum is because these lines, talk about a joke for the Flames, these Oilers lines, they switch every single day. I mean, there's just no rhyme or reason why Draisaitl and McDavid get split up and then put back together, and then Neal's up there, and then they call up Kyler Yamamoto. Now they want Chase on the top line. I mean, they're just the worst. They're the worst. And so if you were power play stacking, which I think you probably should for the Oilers here, if you're attacking them that way, what I might do is just make a rule that says if I play Neal or Draisaitl or Nugent Hopkins, you play McDavid. And because if the Oilers do go off, if they score 4 or 5, which I think there's a good chance they do here, McDavid's probably going to be in on it. Doubt he's going to be the reason that your lineup's nuked. Clefbaum looks elite to me. 6K, play him as a one-off. Play him as whatever you want. He's got a case to be the best defenseman on the slate tonight, especially factoring in ownership. A little bit lower owned than guys like Burns and Dougie and some of these other more popular names, Gio. So I love Clefbaum. Absolutely love him. If he's my number one guy tonight, I will be pretty pumped about that. The Rangers, boy, they have very few redeeming qualities defensively. Just Swiss cheese on defense. Offensively, though, they can score. The 3 implied total agrees with that. I've been playing a ton more of the Zibanejad-Kreider line. I think I'm going to be doing that again tonight. They project really well, and obviously they're going to. I don't know if I'm going to be power play stacking the Rangers here. I think I'm going to be sticking more to the 5-on-5 Zibanejad line. Like Buchnevich, yeah, he's frustrating. The the Rangers hate him, so he gets demoted all the time. He's going to be popular, but he's 3,600, and he's going to be less popular probably than Kreider and Zibanejad. I know we have him a little bit above them, but he's the guy that gets left off a little bit more. If you wanted to play Strome or Panarin instead of him, I get it. Not really a fantastic power play spot for the Rangers here. Let's see. Edmonton is middle of the pack in time shorthanded. Good penalty kill. They're at 83%. I don't know what the shots against and stuff, where they rank on that, on the penalty kill, but just in terms of success rate, they're up there actually. They're in the top 8 so far this season. And so if I had to choose one side, it would be Edmonton power play stack. If I had to choose one line at 5-on-5 for Edmonton, I mean, it's a slam dunk, McDavid, Neal, Zach Kassian. I will have a bunch of McDavid with Neal and Draisaitl. Nugent Hopkins will probably get mixed in there. I don't really want to play Draisaitl with Nygaard and Yamamoto. Like, who knows if that line's going to stick together? Draisaitl carrying his own line without McDavid has just been a train wreck forever, and so they're going to get put together at some point during the game. It happens basically every game. The power play looks good for the Oilers. Yamamoto played a couple seasons ago for like 6 or 7 games. He played with McDavid for a little bit and then got sent down. So I haven't seen him since. I believe that's correct. All right, so yeah, Edmonton 1/PP1. Probably they're going to be up there as my highest owned stack, I would think. Rangers 1 is going to be in the top 4 or 5 for me. I don't think there's a big doubt in my mind that that's the case. Nurse and Clefbaum, both really awesome plays, I think. $4,700 for Nurse might be a little bit forgotten. More of a one-off guy. Doesn't go great with McDavid or Draisaitl or Nugent-Hopkins specifically, but I'll probably have double digits of Darnell Nurse as a one-off. I just love attacking the Rangers. If you're going to that was a couple seasons ago, right? Yamamoto? That wasn't last year, I don't think. I feel like it was a couple years ago. Tony D at 4,200. If you're going with either of the Rangers' top 2 lines and you're trying to get some PP correlation, he's the top power play. He's the guy I'm getting to a little bit of. I've kind of fallen off of Trouba. I was like jamming him in the first few weeks of the season and then started putting in more 2019 data, and he's really fallen off for me. So even at 5,200, I don't think this is the Trouba spot for me, but knock yourself out if you want to go there. Rangers haven't looked as dead lately. No? Let's see where they're at. So I like to look at how teams are on the road. When they're on the road, on the season, on the road, 66.5 Corsi against per 60. Not the most goals against per 60. They are actually 13th. That's not too bad. Expected goals against, though. They are most expected goals against per 60 on the road. Scoring chances against per 60. They lead in that as well. High danger chances against per 60. They are second behind the Winnipeg Jets. So Oilers, Avalanche, those are my 2 favorites. They're fine, but there are so many better lines tonight. Who are we talking about there? Stats don't matter. I would disagree, but yeah. The will to win is the only thing that matters, huh? I suppose. Okay. Blues and Coyotes, 2.8 implied total for the Blues. We have a 2.6 implied total for the Coyotes. Allen, Ranta are your goalies. This seems like a pretty ugly game for me. Arizona, I know they've had a couple rough games recently. I think they're pretty tough, and the low totals say that as well. The lines I'm getting to the most here are on the Arizona side. It's the Dvorak line for me. Well, I should call it the Taylor Hall line. So that line's got a pretty good price. Dvorak, Hall, Garland. Just keep an eye out for the Arizona lines. They constantly switch them up. Hopefully they spend the most time against the Shen Schwartz line. I wouldn't mind them going up against St. Louis 1. St. Louis 2 hasn't been great defensively either, though. So maybe a decent 5-on-5 matchup for Arizona 1. You've got the clear best player on the team, and then you get 2 guys in the top power play. So that's my reasoning why I would play some Arizona 1 tonight. Boy, it would take a lot of lineups for me to hand build an Arizona 1 lineup. They're pretty low owned. So they're just whatever. This game is really tough for me to try to figure out anything that I would want to play, even in 150 max. Nothing's going to be up top as far as my highest exposures. Yeah, Goligoski. So that was the guy I was alluding to earlier. Just playing big minutes. He's 3,600. He's not great, but he is 3,600 and playing 25 minutes some nights recently. So hopefully that sticks. He's been on that second pairing, quote unquote second pairing, him and Chikrin. So there's your 2 guys for Arizona. I'm not an Oliver Ekman-Larsson guy. I feel like I always get left out when he has his one big game every 3 months. the minutes aren't even huge anymore. He had a nice stretch recently. If you just look at like DK points, but man, not really. First of all, Arizona's not really a team I want to power play stack anyways tonight against St. Louis. More in tune with the Goligoski one-off. Or, if you wanted to go to a different line on Arizona, this line would be my second favorite. I don't know what to make of the Stepan Kessel Kraus line. I would assume that line's going to be a disaster at 5-on-5. Garland needs to shoot to keep that top position. Yeah. I hope he does. $3,600 for Garland. Falk is better than Goligoski for $100 more. Falk's been shooting a ton lately. Let me see this. I mean, I like to look at attempts. Has he just been putting shots on goal or what? Yeah, he's been putting a bunch of shots on goal. I mean, he looks fine in terms of that. Playing decent minutes. Sure, if you wanted to go Falk, that's fine. I don't know. I just don't think it's a great spot against Arizona. I don't really have a favorite St. Louis line either. So if this game goes off with the 5.5 total, I will probably it'll be an early night to bed for me. Well, I guess it's New Year's Eve, so maybe not an early night, but I certainly won't be checking the old DraftKings or FanDuel or Yahoo app very late into the night. That's really all I got in this game. Yeah, oh God, don't get me started on Falk. He was a disaster on Carolina, like that last season. I remember last year in the playoffs, he had a literal pass to no one that ended up leading to a goal. I think it was in that Caps series. They ended up winning the series, but he was bad. Maybe it's just that one play I'm thinking of, but boy, not my man, Justin Falk. Get your Yahoo Sports rewards points here. There you go. Whoever's running the Osmo account, thank you for posting that. Yahoo Sports rewards points up to $30. Indeed. Promo code Osmo is how you get that. Flyers, Kings, last game of the night. Elliott, Quick are your goalies. 2.8 implied total for the Flyers. 2.6 for the Kings. Not a lot that I love here either, but we kind of know who's going to go up against who, right? Kopitar, Iafallo, and Toffoli. Probably going to see the most time against Couturier, Giroux, Voracek, stacked top line for the Flyers. If you wanted to take some shots on Flyers 1, I think that would be pretty smart as an MME play. But I'm looking a little bit more at Hayes with Konechny and Van Riemsdyk. Kind of like that line. I will say, this LA second line, they've been the third line forever, but Lizotte, Kempe, and Wagner, they've been playing decently. So maybe not a line that you just get run over by, or it's not a line that I expect Philly to run over, I should say. But I do like the Hayes line a little bit. Weirdly low totals here in this game. Like, the Kings stink, don't they? I don't know. I feel like they do. Low ownership for Philly. Yeah, let's see what we got here. Yeah, so that second line is right now is pretty significantly lower owned, and so that's why I'm getting to a little bit more of them. Flyers stacked tonight. Yeah, like I said, they're fine. They're like very secondary plays. Like my top plays, like there's 3 teams I think. I guess 3 lines that are kind of my favorites by a pretty good margin, and that would be Colorado, top line, Rangers, top line, Edmonton, top line. So I know those are all popular. Colorado looks way too low owned for me, based on what we have. So outside of that, most of these teams are going to be secondary. I should throw in Carolina. I really do think I'll end up getting to a ton of that second Carolina line. So this game, man, I'm not going to be rooting for the late night hammer. It's the worst anti-fading players at the end. Or anti-sweating, I should say, fading all the late games when you don't have the PMRs. But that's likely what I'll be doing. They should be Carolina 1. Yeah. I mean, I just say Carolina 2 because they were Carolina 2 on the screen. Sean Walker is the guy I'm punting with at 3,300. This guy, he always ends up in like 5% of my lineups. And I don't really know why. I guess he plays a decent amount of minutes. Maybe he's got decent shot rates. That's the only thing I can think of why he would be getting pushed up for me. Aho greater than great. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Aho is way better than Stahl for DFS for sure. Aho's a stud. What am I missing here? Oh, Hattie pick. 0% double Hattie. All right, boom. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we can do for you. Man, Philly 2 is so low owned. All right. Let me check something really quick here. Yeah. I want to say someone from this Winnipeg top line, but I also don't because I don't think I'm going to play a lot of them. And so why would I pick them as my Hattie? And then if I'm right, then what? Well, great, you're right, but then you lose a bunch of money, right? So we're going to do like a sub 5%er. Boom. Where is this guy? Okay. Svechnikov's low. Niederreiter's pretty low. Boy. How about you give me Donskoy as a Hattie? I know that's kind of cheating. He might be higher than we have right now. But I'll take Donskoy as my hat trick pick. I really like him on that top line in this spot. Hopefully getting to go up against Winnipeg 1. Winnipeg 1's pretty poor defensively. Winnipeg on the road especially, Winnipeg's been pretty bad at all strengths. They just don't take a lot of penalties, and that's the one problem. If this is a game where you get 3 or 4 times shorthanded, the one outlier game, I have a hard time believing that Colorado fails. JVR, that's a good pick. Rangers line 1/2. Yeah, I like the Zibanejad line a little bit better than Strome Panarin. Rantanen, that's a good pick. Boom. Although I don't think you're following your own rules. 0%. I think Rantanen's going to be a little bit higher than that. All right, so this looks like a pretty fun slate. There's a few lines I'm taking some decent stands on, but there's not like a 3% owned line that I'm going to be having 20% of or anything like that. I think, one of the lines I'm going to be the most overweight on is probably this Dubois-Foligno line for Columbus, but do I even get to 10% on them? I don't even know. So looks like a pretty straightforward night. I'm hammering a bunch of these top defensemen. I love Dougie. I love Clefbaum. I think it's a good night to jump back on Burns. You've got Werenski and Jones for CBJ. So a lot of my lineups are going to have that double high-priced defenseman, which I like. Aho hat trick. Yeah, I like that one. All right. That's going to do it. Real quick, try out these NHL projections. These are free today. I will update these right after the show, so you should see them. You should see that go into effect in about 20 minutes or so. Check out the 8 crazy nights of giveaways. This is the last one. So we're giving away 10 $90 value Awesemo Plus monthly passes. Yes, Happy New Year to all of you guys. Be safe tonight. I will be in with a bunch of friends and lady friends and all of that. Well, my girlfriend and all my friends' girlfriends and all that. So it's going to be maybe a low-key night. Who knows? Hopefully sweating some tournaments tonight. Yes, call Uber. We're not sponsored by Uber, but whatever your ride app is, Lyft or There's probably some new hipster trendy ones that I'm not even aware of. I stick to Uber and Lyft, but I will not be using those tonight because I'm planning on staying home and watching sports, maybe playing some games. What do you meme? You guys ever played that one? That one's pretty messed up, but it should be interesting once the drinks start flowing. Okay. Yahoo probably doesn't want me to say this now after that little soliloquy, but we are presented by Yahoo. We love playing over there. Promo code OSMO is how you get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points right on the site. Promo code OSMO, that is. Once again, go take advantage. No show tomorrow. It is New Year's Day. I doubt any of you will even be paying attention to sports. Probably be nursing that hangover or whatever you choose to do tonight. You'll be paying the price for it tomorrow. I think there's a showdown slate tomorrow. So we'll have projections and all that. But should be good. Enjoy your night and hopefully sweat some tournaments. Good luck tonight, guys.